Hey sweet friends, welcome back to my channel. Kay here from At Home with Kay, and you are looking at bottle caps. Yes, bottle caps. And you're looking at a medicine bottle cap, and you're looking at some toothpaste caps, because I will be making some very cute Christmas ornaments out of these little caps. I am gluing together a water bottle cap and a toothpaste cap. That is going to be an ice cream cone. I'm using this hot glue gun to make the lines, those crisscross lines that are on an ice cream cone, with the hot glue. And when it dries, it'll still have that pattern and I can paint it. This is another challenge video that I'm coming to you with today, the Just Our Imagination challenge, where we use items such as bottle caps, a plastic cutting mat, and jars, any jars that we can, to make something out of our imagination. Now these other bottles, I glued them on, bottle caps, I glue them all together so it's like a 3-tiered cake. Then I'm going to take this last set of bottle caps and I'm going to make a cute little snowman hat ornament out of that one. And then I have one more toothpaste cap that I'm going to make a cupcake out of. And I'm just going to take you through all the steps as I do this. I will let you know about the host and the co-host of this challenge a little later on in the video. So what I'm doing here is I'm making the snowman hat, and I'm going to glue this pop bottle cap to the top of this piece of cardboard, and the cardboard is just going to be the brim of the hat. And then I felt that it was a little bit too short, so I glued another bottle cap on top, and then I'm just going to cut around to make it round like the brim of a hat. And you know what, guys, I lost the footage when I did this whole process the first time, so I had to go back and do it again because all I had was the end result, and I wanted everybody to see how you could make these cute little ornaments, and hopefully you will try to make them also. Okay, so here I'm just peeling off a little bit of that hot glue that squeezed out on the sides, and then I'm going to use this black chalkboard paint from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint my snowman hat. It's going to need about 2 coats though, because there's like writing on these bottle caps, you know, so you have to be sure to cover all that up. So I'm going to use 2 coats of paint and do that. And then I'm going to paint my cake. I'm going to paint that white, and I'm also going to paint my little ice cream cone brown to match the color of an ice cream cone. And I'm going to paint my cupcake liner, which that is supposed to be. I'm going to paint that red. I'm going to paint some of it off camera though. Yeah, now this little guy, it definitely needs 2 coats on that. More so on that green bottle cap, because that green paint did not want to be covered. It kept showing through. So I'm going to do 2 coats, definitely, maybe 3, I believe, on that. Okay, so now that I have all my little items painted, and like I said, I did some of them off camera, I am going to make my ice cream for my ice cream cone. And what I'm using is just some foam clay, and I have done this before, so if any of you have been following me for a little while, you know how I do. And I'm just going to put a little dab of hot glue, and I rolled out this piece of clay, and I'm just going to twirl it around and around and around into my little cone, and then I'm going to break it off at the tip, and then I'll just have to add another little dibble of hot glue down there at the bottom so that it doesn't come off. And that's what I'm doing right here. And I'm also going to make my cupcake frosting with the same foam clay. Okay, and I put a little bead inside of the cupcake liner so I would have something to adhere my clay to. So you just flatten out your piece of clay, and then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut it in a swirly pattern so that it can mimic frosting dripping down. And then I'm just going to glue it on top of my cupcake. And for my hat, I'm going to add a little evergreen and some little cranberries on the side of that. But on my cake, I wanted to put some little red dots all the way around. So I'm going to use my red puffy paint, and I'm just going to add little dots around each area of the layers. And I'm going to do that with this, like I said, this red puffy paint very carefully. And guys, forgive me for how blurry this is, but I'm so sorry. But anyway, I'm going to put some little hangers. These are little jump rings from a jewelry making kit that I had. And I am going to just screw those, because they are little tiny screws, in the top of each of the ornaments. And that's when I'm going to put my string through. So then I screwed that into the top of the ice cream. I'm going to screw it into the top of the cake. I'm going to have to punch a little hole there though with like something sharp in order to get it in there. But I'm going to screw it into the top of the cupcake and also inside in the top of the hat. I got these nice red, white, and green beads from Michaels, and I'm going to use that as like a cherry on top of the cupcake. And they have a little green star in there that I'm going to put on top of the cake. And I got this little string of pearl ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to take the smaller pearls and I'm going to use that to put some designs all around each layer of the cake. And I'm just going to hot glue it around the top, middle, and the bottom layer. And now just our imagination. The host of this challenge is Kathy Jo DIYs and Rustic and Lace DIY. And the co-host is featuring the amazing Craft Away with May. I'm going to have their channels and the playlist linked in my description below. So what I'm doing here, our next item on the list was to use jars. I had these little yogurt jars that I spray painted gold, and I had seen some beautiful bells on the Pottery Barn website, and I said I bet I can make some bells out of these little jars. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do here. I have those two beads. Those beads are going to go on a string and be, you know, the thing that makes my bell ring, you know. So I'm just putting on some gloves because I am going to use some. You see how gold that is? I want it to look a little bit dingier, so I'm just going to take some antique wax and rub on it. I could have used the cinnamon and Mod Podge technique, but it was getting late and I was tired and it's messy, so I just chose the easier route. I'm gonna just use this Mod Podge and just rub it all over it. And I'm so sorry I'm out of the frame. My daughter told me that I shouldn't be filming with my selfie camera, that I should have my camera the other way, and so that's what I was doing. But when I did it, it like takes me out of the frame a lot. I'm not good at this recording stuff. Anyways, so after I got it on, you can tell that it's a little bit darker. So I was glad that I used the antique wax, because it did help to darken down or to dull down that gold a little bit. So I'm also adding a little bit of antique wax to my beads here, just so they aren't just wood, you know, that they're a little bit darker also. So next I'm taking my jute string and I'm gonna just make a little string inside of my wood bead to hang it inside of the bell. I'm just gonna hot glue it inside of the bell, and I'm just making a little knot that I'm gonna add a dab of hot glue to and cut the excess off, and then I'm going to glue it inside of my bell. So here we are. I'm all ready to put this together, and I have that piece of rope there because that's what I'm gonna do to put the bells together. I'm gonna attach that rope by tying a knot and hot gluing it to the bottom of the bell. But first, I'm gonna glue the beads inside of the bell. And it actually works. Okay, so now I'm going to take the rope and I'm going to tie a knot in the end of each end of the rope, and I'm going to hot glue that to the top of each of the bells. Okay, so I'm going to add these bells to a wreath, and I'll show you what that looks like at the end of the video. Okay, so this next project and last project is we had to use a Dollar Tree cutting mat. So I wanted to use these cute little Santa Claus napkins, and I needed a wood frame, so I'm going to tear this canvas apart. And being a person that loves to paint, this was hard for me to do, but I'm going to take apart this canvas and I'm going to make a window, and I'm going to use the cutting mat as frosted glass, and I want it to look like Santa Claus is, you can see him through the window, like you're inside and you're looking at him outside. So that's what my intention is with this. So the first thing I'm going to do is just hot glue the mat to, no, that's not what I'm doing first. First I'm measuring because I need to make it look like a window. So I wanted to use that dowel. I'm going to put, it going crisscross in the window. And here I am out of the frame again. I need to figure out my recording. I'm really sorry, guys. But what I'm doing here is I'm just measuring and cutting my dowel. And I'm going to put that dowel in there off camera, and I'm going to paint it white, and then I'll come back and show you what's next. And now I'm just going to hot glue all the way around and add my cutting mat and then trim it off. And then I'm going to paint it and add the dowels to the inside of the frame. And here is the frame all put together and painted, and those just stuck right in there. You just cut them down and you just push them right down in there. That's all it was. So then I'm going to take my napkin, and see, I wanted it to look like he was just outside and you were looking at him outside the window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and I'm going to Mod Podge the napkin to the back of this cutting mat. It's going to be a little bit tricky though, because I'm not good at Mod Podging or decoupage or whatever. So it had like air bubbles under it, but it was okay because I wanted the window to look frosted, and it did get the look that I was going for. And the blue on the other part of the napkin, looked more like the blue sky. So it worked out perfectly. It's not perfect, but it's perfect. It's okay for me. You know what I mean? So then I'm just taking different parts of the napkin to see. I wanted more trees, but you know, the way the trees were on this, they were covered up with things, and I wasn't getting it the right look that I was going for. So then I remember those napkins that I used in the video that I previously did, and it had trees on it, and you're gonna see in the end that I used some of those trees to add to this, and it worked out just fine when I did that. And again, I'm so sorry about being out of frame here. So since I had to piece the napkin together, I wanted there to be the snowflakes on all parts of the blue napkin. So then I just took my white paint in the back of my paintbrush, and I just made little dots all the way around the napkin. Actually, I used the actual paintbrush and not the back of it. All the way around the napkin, on all the blue parts, I put some snowflakes. And now I'm going to use the Mod Podge, and I'm going to Mod Podge the trees down, and then I'm going to put the napkin over it. Those trees that I cut out, I'm just going to Mod Podge those on there, and then I'm going to put the rest of the napkin over it. And I am going to take the napkin apart. You know how it's the two plies? The ply, well, this one's one ply, I think. I'm going to pull the back off after I put Mod Podge on it, though I did it backwards. So here it is, and what I did was I took some paint and I just dibbled it in all the corners to make it look like frost had built up on the windows. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some Mod Podge and put on top of that paint, and I'm going to sprinkle a little fake snow. I know this is supposed to be inside, but sometimes frost can build up inside a window too if it's not really secure. So if the window's not really, you know, airtight. So it is real, it is reality, you know, that could happen. So I'm going to add a little Mod Podge to that, and then I'm going to sprinkle a little fake snow on the Mod Podge. And if you look really closely, you can see that underneath those, like those long white streaks, those are like air bubbles that built up underneath the cutting mat when I put the napkin on top and the Mod Podge. It just didn't adhere down. It was like really not good. So I tried to do a little bit of heat on it, but that seemed to make it worse. So I just stopped. I quit while I was ahead. So here I am with the Mod Podge, and I'm just gonna add a little Mod Podge to it, and then I'm going to put the fake snow, and you will see it at the end of the video. And please, guys, check out the host and the co-host channels. They are linked in the description box below, along with the playlist. You will not be disappointed. And here we are at the end of the video. These are the bells. I hung them in this wreath. This is just a wreath base that I had from last year, a year before that. And that ribbon was on there, and I had forgotten about it. And it's perfect for this because it's simple, just simple, one color, no frills and fluff, just those bells and the ribbon. And I think it turned out perfectly. Tell me what you guys think. Do those look like bells? I tried to make it look like the Pottery Barn bells. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And here is my window, my fake window with Santa Claus peeking through. I tried to use my imagination and think outside the box here. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, how this turned out. I just added that bow and that little snowflake medallion on there, and I think it turned out cute. My daughter said, oh, that one's my favorite, so that must mean something. And here are our bottle cap ornaments. There is our snowman hat hanging there. And see, I just put the two little red cranberries on there and a little bit of the evergreen. And here is our cake. That's a green star. You can't quite make out that it's a star, I don't think, but that's a green star on top. I think that's really cute. And there are the cupcakes. And there are our little ice cream cones. So cute, so perfect and simple. So I want you guys to please remember to check out the playlist for Kathy Joe's link to her channel, and Rustic and Lace DIY, the link to her channel, and also Craft Away with May, the link to her channel, and also check out their videos that will also be in the playlist, along with a lot of other fantastic creators. I look forward to seeing what they've all created, and I know that I will not be disappointed for sure, because I never am. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and remember, when you can't find the sunshine, be the sunshine.